Okay, if you see the anterior knee, the stability of the knee relies on this thing. The mainly the ACL will work as a primary restraint to the anterior translation of tibia in relation to the femur, and also it's a secondary restraint of internal rotation of tibia in full extension. The anterior knee stability is not only on the ligament, there is some static stability also there, that is due to the muscle contraction. Okay, so that is what we used to term as functional stability, which is aided by the sensation transmitted through the mechanoreceptors that is present in the ligaments. Any damage to the mechanoreceptors would diminish this somatosensory information, and that may lead to altered neuromuscular control, that may lead to changes in the thing. If you go to the ACL, why that is called as cruciate ligament? The name cruciate, it means the cross shaped. The anterior cruciate ligament and the posterior cruciate ligament, you can see that is crossing each other here. So that is termed as the cruciate. The name comes from this thing, cross-shaped ligament. Also, there is a spatial relation between the ACL and PCL as they cross each other with the thing. ACL is an intracapsular ligament covered by an extensive synovial lining. So they term it as an extra synovial and intra capsular ligament. Okay, so the ACL, it will see that thing. If you see this picture, the ACL will start from the attachment from the anterior tibial plateau, and it runs in a posterior, superior, and the lateral direction, and it will attach to the medial side of the lateral femoral condyle. So why this is important? If you see this bundle, it's not straight bundle. There is some spiral nature of the bundle, and it is attached to the femur. Okay, so this has the spiraling nature, makes the ACL into two separate bundles called as anteromedial bundle and the posterolateral bundle. Based on the attachment to the tibia, this is termed, which is more anterior and medial, that is termed as anteromedial bundle, and which is more posterior and lateral, it is termed as posterolateral bundle. So you can see this picture. Why that is significant, we'll see. In the knees in full extension, the anteromedial and the posterolateral bundle will be here and here. So what will happen as the knees goes for flexion? As it goes for flexion, there will be some twisting because of the spiral nature, and this anteromedial bundle will take more tension, and that will be work as a maximum restraint to the flexion. If you see the PCL, that will work as a maximum restraint to the extension. So this PCL will be, that is the, sorry, it's not PCL, it's a posterolateral bundle. This will be more this thing in the extended knee. When there is more of force acting on the thing extension, the posterolateral bundle will take the strain, and that will start to prevent the excessive translation. And when as it goes into, moves into more and more of flexion, anteromedial bundle of the anterior cruciate ligament will take more role, and that will try to prevent the excessive translation. So again, the picture here, it very clearly says this is in the 0 degrees of extension, and when it goes for the 90 degrees of flexion of the knee, the femur is in flexion. So the anteromedial bundle is in a stretch thing, and the posterolateral is in the slack thing, or it's not taking much load as it goes for the flexion. Okay. Tension in the anteromedial bundle increases with the knee flexion because it spirals around the rest of the ligament. The posteromedial bundle takes the thing when it is in greater part of the extension. Next, we come to the quadriceps. Why this quadriceps is important when we talk about ACL? This quadriceps will try to contract, that it will try to pull the tibia more anteriorly when it goes for the terminal extension. Okay, you can see the picture. When the quadriceps pull is becoming more, that is giving excessive strain to the excessive anterior translation to the tibia in relation to femur. That is mainly prevented by the ACL ligament. Also, the posterior structures like posterior capsule and the hamstring tendon will try to prevent the excessive translation of the thing. So what is happening here is, during the last 50 to 60 degrees of complete extension, the active force generated by the quadriceps contracting the thing, it will try to pull more the tibia in an anterior thing, and that is in turn limited by the ACL. So we can say that quadriceps is an antagonist for the ACL, and hamstring is an agonist for the thing. And this maximum strain, if you see, the studies have shown that the ACL will take more strain at the terminal extension. Some book says, or the article says 20 to 40 degrees it will give more strain, but many of the studies says at 15 degrees there is excessive strain. And also you have to remember, when the thing is at about some 90 to 60 degrees, when it comes, or 90 to 30 degrees, the strain on the ACL is very, very less. Okay. When we do an extension from 90 to 0 degrees, the maximum strain is noted at the terminal extension, or we can say it as 15 degrees. After the 30 degrees of this extension, there is this thing from 90 to 30. If you go from this one to this extension, the strain on the ACL is very less when compared to the terminal extension.